closing argument is probably going to take 3 hours. You're out there, no notes. Divide in your mind, an hour this, an hour that, an hour that. If you can't do that, then you're not going to engender this nexus with the jury. Remember, you've got to be out there naked, you've got to be out there, so that they can judge every bit of sincerity that you have to give. It's kind of like you rolling up, your sleeves, like there's no hiding, you look them in the eye. So the first thing I always say, I want to slice out, and then I'll say, pretend. It's got to go with the case, and it's got to be real. You've got to have it strong. I'll go, appointment. Point to the U.S. Attorney, point to the DA and say, he solicited it, he paid for it, and he argued for it. And what am I talking about? Perjury! Something bad. You've got to have the perjury. You've got to have it. But it's easy. Where in the drug cases there's the informants that are given, so much in terms of benefits, and any mild form of investigation will produce large or small statements that they will perjure themselves. So you've got to have it. It can't be false, but you lay it on. This is the U.S. Attorney, and he's standing here as, your symbol of representative government. He's the person that is supposed to have pursue the truth and the objective truth. He's that person who takes no sides. And what has he done? You know how many times he's met. You know how many $1,000 he's offered. And then he comes behind, stands behind what everyone in this court knows is perjury. Is it perjury? That kind of a thing. And so you get there, right at the beginning. It's like, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to evacuate my spleen at this moment. I had prepared rationally. I had prepared, from the evidence, but at this time, I have to, tell you what a disgrace it was, what I heard. And what you're really doing is, right at the very beginning, because closing arguments have to cover everything, and they have to rise and fall, and all parts can't be passionate, and all parts can't be emotional. But this is the way I do it. And we're talking about engendering a live force. So elan vital between you and the jury, the lawyer and the jury. I like to give a death blow right at the beginning. Their weakest part of their case, just like invent, not, contrived passion. If you can't get pissed off, if you don't feel frustrated, if you don't feel anger and bitterness over a judicial system that pays informants, with liberty, with money, who clothe them with credibility, who transfer them, sometimes they're homicidal maniacs, and they put them in communities and call them John Smith. And if that doesn't cause your blood, to rise, then you're not going. This isn't for you, right? Folks? Right? Poetry. There's lots of good things that can be done, but the live, energy that has to be manifested to bring that jury towards you, so that they are with you. That has to be done from my perspective. Maybe that's my bag. Not intellectual. Not speaking in any form of legalese. Allegorical, metaphorical, symbolic language. They love that. There is nothing more beautiful than that lawyer at that moment, because for them, in any kind of a case, he represents, what would you call it, the barrier between truth and falsehood, between the judicial system that works and doesn't. They all will respect you. They will listen. Their ears, will be in tune to your words at that moment. So, and if you can get the U.S. Attorney or the DA ever defending his own integrity, so that's what you want to do. If you can get them, if you can get him, like when he comes up again, instead of just slamming you, they're supposed to say their best for the end and tempt you not to argue because you think that they forgot. And if when you don't argue, then they just wipe you. So if you get them even using half of their time defending, see, they have a feeling, these prosecutors, that somehow they're self-righteous and they're doing good things. Those are the most dangerous ones. The ones who know they're scumbags, that's easier because they have to do duplicity is written in their presentation. But if you get them defending themselves ultimately and their integrity, you're halfway there. So yeah, I slam them at that point, and then proceed to what I'll call a detailed closing argument that for me is multi-faceted. That is, I have my own method, and I'll discuss the one, but that's not the topic here. The topic here is to generate a new feeling, or to encourage, some kind of sympathy between jury and lawyer. What I tried to say then, it's the lawyer that is the main conduit. It's the integrity of the lawyer. Hi, Joe. Joe's why I'm here, really. There's a beautiful word. It's called impeccability. If you want to communicate, you have to be impeccable. The lawyer has to be impeccable. They have to identify and project with the lawyer. They have to, in essence, transfer all of their idealism, all of their adolescent, beliefs in democracy and honor and truth and justice. They have to transfer those to you, like you're the bearer, you're the carrier of that. So you have to be impeccable, and they judge the entire case by your word. And you can say, if you have them, if you've drawn them in during the course of the case at that level, then they trust you, and you never lie to them. But that you will say, and I've said this, and it's worked, over the years, this here is the word of an informant. And all of the corroboration is consistent and innocent. And the word of an informant in any judicial process cannot be the basis of a conviction. You've got to look to the evidence that is extraneous to the word of informant. You always have to excise what the informant says. Why? I got 40 minutes on why snitches can't be accepted in any kind of a judicial system. They can't. Who can predicate a truth-seeking process on paid witnesses? If we paid witnesses, it would be obstruction of justice. If a system that allowed both sides to pay witnesses, it would be mocked, it would be scorned. And yet we have a system where we can't, under penalty of being arrested and prosecuted, and they do. All of their witnesses in the major drug cases are cooperating witnesses or informants. And they're paid off more, with liberty nowadays than money. Previously with money and liberty, but liberty is more precious than money. No judicial system can predicate a truth-seeking process on paid witness. So I have my whole theme on that. But they'll accept it. They will do that, no matter how brainwashed they are into, disdaining drugs and people connected with drugs. I've always analogized because, once again, I'm from another era, and I lived under the canopy of the Hemingway syndrome. And so bullfights became a large allegory, and I'm always, thankfully, of the persuasion that bull should not be killed. I like the Portuguese bullfight, but that's beside the point. The image is the lawyer is the bullfighter. He stands alone. He stands impeccable. He stands proud. She, forgive me, he, she, it, don't matter.
It's okay, he's good.
Everyone looks. The bull is the symbol of what would we call it? The dark forces, primordial fear, instincts that are self-destructive. Everything that society, fears. That's what a crime is. It's a manifestation, ultimately, of fear in terms of survival of the species, or a word that's much broader than fear. And so the bull symbolizes this, obviously. In the bullfight, they cheat. You know how they drug the bull. It's not a fair fight. But what we do is that we have to take the bull, and the bull is called racism. Sometimes it's called poverty. It's called, psychiatric deficiency. That's the bull. And we have to translate that into something that jury can understand and appreciate and empathize and sympathize with. So we're always bullfighters in that respect. And and that means that you have to have the courage to die, to be gored. You have to have the courage, like our red, flag is maybe our way with words in our cross-examination. But ultimately, you're calling, like in a trial, direct confrontation. You're not avoiding it. this, ladies and gentlemen, case that involves racism in the district attorney's office, racism in the narcotic detail, racism that they are trying to incite, and it works. I had a case recently because the heart of the community, but I'm from San Francisco, is still good. If you can reach the people ultimately through the brainwashing, through all of the indoctrination that media and law